This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, bust out your bad accents and flame retardant pants because we're getting blown away. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Har-ta-ta-tar-ta-tar.
Jamelle Bouie.
Oh my God, Chris. And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, that's right. We're talking Blown Away from 1994, directed by Stephen Hopkins. And to help us on this journey, we're so very stoked to welcome back friend of the show, New York Times columnist, serial enthusiast, and co-host of the Unclear and Present Danger podcast, our good buddy Jamelle Bouie. How's it going, man?
Hello. Thank you for having me once again to talk about this wonderful, wonderful movie.
Oh yeah.
This is so I want to get right to it, Jamelle. Had you seen this before coming on the program?
No, I hadn't. And when I was looking, when I was watching it, I was like, this feels like it should be on the list for Unclear and Present Danger, and it turns out it is, like sometime later in the year.
Yes.
But I'd never seen this before, and I'm shocked because it's sort of like everything that I love. It's like the 90s political thriller is like my favorite genre, and I do not know how I missed this movie with Tommy Lee Jones playing this sort of like having this like wonderfully impish performance.
Oh my
this,
God.
like sort of ain't I a stinker performance.
He's the Irish Joker, is what he is.
It is.
Well, dude, that's exactly the thought I put together last night. I realize now why he was so upset working with Jim Carrey on Batman Forever and saying like he could not sanction that guy's buffoonery because Jim Carrey was doing his performance from this movie. I mean, it's unbelievable the way he is tap dancing around this thing, going so far beyond like Irish bomber character. My God.
I mean, it goes beyond that. I mean, he's finding U2 for the first time. Getting
Oh, man.
He's learning all about the new Irish culture while also killing cops by the half dozens.
Yep.
This movie has a body count. I was not expecting it going in. I was like, at a certain point, I'm sure we'll get into this, obviously, but at a certain point, I was thinking, are they just gonna like kill off everyone at that wedding one by one? And lo and behold,
oh man, this team that fucking eats shit, it is just unbelievable. I would like to posit the reason why a lot of us didn't know about this movie is because there was a much more popular, successful bomber-related movie that came out the same year, which is, of course, Speed.
3 weeks earlier.
Oh, was it that close?
Yes,
Oh
it really
God.
was.
Yeah.
It just rushed. It really just swooped in because like MGM knew they had it. Like thought this was going to be a huge hit, and they're like, "Oh, let's push this back to July." And then I think something. Fox was like, "Let's push up Speed," and Speed came in and was. And I mean, this movie kind of. It's weird to look at the two movies because I mean, Speed's a better movie for sure.
Yeah.
However, this movie goes so hard, so it's really hard for me to like. Like I'm fine with both of them. It's a rare case of like, you know what, you both did a great job.
Yeah.
Speed is a breakout. Like there is nothing like Speed.
Mhm.
What I like about this is very familiar. This
Mhm.
is the plotting is very familiar. Everything. I should say I've seen this a lot.
Really?
I've seen this at least 20 times.
Was this part of
Wow.
your father's Columbia House scam with the VHS tapes?
Absolutely, it was. We went through two
Excellent.
copies of it. He was a big fan. My mother was also a big fan because she really likes Jeff Bridges. And why wouldn't you? He's so good in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always thought this was like I was always surprised to find out that people didn't like this. Like I'd read reviews and be like, "Hey, it's fine," and I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? This is really good. It's just really also stupid."
Well, it's unhinged excellence.
right.
Yes.
I mean, like to go back to Speed. Chris is right. Speed is a breakout movie. It is. I think it sort of it pioneers action filmmaking in a really unique way that kind of you'll see throughout the rest of the decade. It's sort of it's like the Die Hard of the 90s, right? It's sort of it created a new kind of thing. And Blown Away isn't that, but it's still just a great time. And when I pulled it up to watch, I saw the runtime was like 2 hours. I was like, oh my god, 2 hours. But it went by in a flash. I was just like the entire time I was like, I am keyed into what this movie is doing.
Well, because every 13 minutes someone is getting blown up, and that is the pace that I'm looking for. I mean, like, and that's why, like, I think again, speed is all the things we said it is, and speed's all about tension. Obviously, it's all about the engine of this bus, and oh my god, what's going to happen to this bus and these characters and all these little problems we have with like, no, this is people getting systematically blown the fuck away, which is the original title, is blown the fuck away. They had to clean it up for the American distribution, but. And I think probably what really hampers this movie is the accents, it's the elephant in the room, and like, yeah, I know it's got to be IRA, and it's got to be. I think Bridges' Boston accent is actually worse than Tommy Lee Jones's Irish accent.
I didn't know what he was doing.
They're both fit for Saturday Night Live. I mean, you know.
I mean, at least Tommy Lee Jones's Irish accent was like consistent for most of the movie.
Yep.
Bridges is just like dropping in and out of that Boston accent.
To the point where like, just don't even bother, man. Like, hey, look, you are a secret undercover ex-IRA guy, and you know, you have a fake American accent, which sounds remarkably like regular Jeff Bridges talking. How about that?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird though, because once the movie like reveals that he is secret Irish, you know,
they could be anywhere.
That's exactly right. They could be you or you. I mean, but like it appears as if like, I mean, and this must have been like a scene to scene, take to take thing, was flirting with the idea of like when he's talking to Tommy Lee Jones, or maybe also when he's talking to Lloyd Bridges, like he's like kind of falling into an Irish thing, but it doesn't work. The only time you really notice it is he starts saying Ireland, like he starts really Irishing up the pronunciation of the country name. But other than that, it's just not happening.
It's funny that it's not only like a secondary, like it lost out on the bomb expert edge to speed, but it also all the IRA movies that were coming out at this time all are remembered more than this, like Patriot Games, the prequel to Unclear and Present Danger, and In the Name of the Father, I think is the year before this, maybe. And then
when's Devil's Own? That's later, right?
That's like
97.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and but like this is. Oh, we should also say our good colleague Eric Siska is off with the IRA currently. That is why he couldn't make it today. He's helping them regroup. I know he's not exactly of their side. He's more of the Germanic tribes, but he thought they might need some help, and he couldn't make it today.
I was just gonna say, it is interesting that you do have all of these IRA movies around this time. I mean, this is, you know, on the podcast I co-host, you know, we're trying to unpack the politics of these things, and it's so clear, especially with a game like a movie like Patriot Games, that there's just sort of like, well, what is like, who is the baddie now that we're no longer in like, you know, a conflict with the Soviet Union,
right?
And it's just funny that the answer is like kind of consistently, well, I guess it's the Irish. Like, I guess it's Irish nationalism, which is also funny because like if there's a, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the history of like English colonialism in Ireland, but like if there's anyone who's like totally justified and like going apeshit about this stuff, it is probably the Irish.
Exactly.
Right,
it's not like they're going to be like, yes. So like if the IRA won, like, we've finally done it, boys, and now America. Like that's not the next step in their master plan. Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, we were just cheering on the UK from the sidelines. Like it wasn't even our conflict.
No, exactly. Like we love the UK in that, but it's so bizarre that the idea that this would turn up on our shores immediately thereafter, because we're the next domino to fall in this crime syndicate. Sure. You know?
Well, the great detail also is that we are told at some point, I don't remember who says it, maybe it was Forrest Whitaker brings up, someone is like, oh, so Tommy Lee Jones was IRA? To which Jeff Bridges replies, no, he was too crazy for the IRA.
Okay.
But I thought it was interesting that they didn't bother saying like Splinter Cell or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it's just like, no. He was too fucking batshit for the IRA, if you can believe it.
He was part of the Super IRA. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're really, really underground. This poor captain for this whole fucking movie, man, is just made a dope throughout this poor John Finn guy. Because when he does bring up the thing like, oh yeah, Garrity, here, I got his whole rap sheet here, Tommy Lee Jones's character. He's like, how did you get this? He's like, Interpol.
Oh, dude, I have
I called up Interpol.
On speed dial, and they're all like, all right, that sounds right.
Yeah,
like,
that sounds good. Yeah, no.
Forrest Whitaker is the only guy in this movie who's like, that kind of sounds like horse shit, Jeff Bridges.
Jesus Christ.
But way before that, we get this like solemn intro with like, I just wrote down nun music. I mean, this is like operatic church shit,
And this is what I miss about the 90s is like ponderous action movies. You know what I mean? Like action movies that take themselves so ponderously seriously to start with this huge choral score to just let you know that it's a fight between the angels and the devils. And I'm like, this is so stupid. I love it.
You're settling in. Remember when you got to settle in for a movie and the credits took a little while? It's patience. That's what's nice about this before we get to the prison, which is a phenomenal. I love this scene.
Oh my God, it's incredible. But like, that's what's weird though, is the nun music, as I'm calling it, doesn't prepare you for the juxtaposition of seeing Tommy Lee Jones with this long hair. I had to pause it. I was like, look at this man. And we're told this is Castle Glee Prison in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, and he's about to tell Harry Potter about his parents. No. His buddy, his cellmate, who is supposed to be leaving, escaping the prison with him, gets out of solitary and is being asked by all of his colleagues in the prison, "Hey, did you jerk off in there?" To which I say, "What else are you doing in solitary?"
Yeah, that's true.
Come on now.
You got to find ways to pass the time. When the dude gets shoved back into the cell, he tosses a nice Pogue Mahone at the guard. Kiss my ass. Love that. It's weird that we drop all of the pretending to speak any kind of like Celtic once we leave this prison. Like, that's it. That's done with.
Yeah, there's no Gaelic after that at all.
Like I'd wonder if it was like, it should have happened where like Lloyd Bridges is talking to that hot dog guy at the baseball stadium or whatever. That other like secret Irish operative who's also covering up his accent. Like, like
Jamelle said,
Jamelle,
they could be everywhere.
Yep, you have no idea where these people are. Freaking me out. They might even be in my own family.
You scratch someone and they bleed green, and
Yeah, you would never know in the Boston Red Sox stadium that there might be an Irish person. You just would never know.
From Tommy Lee Jones' first line, though, like this movie lets you know what's up as far as this performance, because he's just like, his first line is something like, "You like to fight." And I was like, oh, fuck. Nothing could have prepared. I was blown away by that accent reveal.
It's Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, I feel like it's worth saying that these days we think of Tommy Lee Jones as like this very dignified actor, but he has this run in the early 90s where he's just playing these batshit roles.
Oh, yeah.
He's in The Package, Andrew Davis, The Package, and Under Siege. He's actually like an Andrew Davis, like, guy.
Yeah. Is the Package is him and Hackman? Is that the right movie?
Right. It's him and Hackman. And he plays like this, former special forces guy / assassin. And he's great in it. And he's like playing it. He's playing it like he's Lee Harvey Oswald. We need Eric on here. It's perfect.
And he's also totally nuts at JFK as well. I mean, like that performance is like bonkers crazy.
That's true. I forgot about that. And
then Under Siege,
Two-Face.
he's like, he's that rock and roll terrorist. I mean, he's just doing all these crazy, all these crazy performances. So this is very much of a piece with like Tommy Lee Jones in the first half of the 90s.
Yeah, the maniac energy on him originally was what. It's funny that is what like codified him originally. Like that stuff. Have you ever seen The Eyes of Laura Mars?
Great movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah,
and he's got it there too. And he's the nice guy in that. And even there, he's kind of creepy.
Well, that's weird though. So like what turned our
It's the fugitive. It's
Fugitive.
the fugitive.
Oh,
The Fugitive.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
stiff upper lip. It's the one that he got known for, and he's fantastic in it. But like the fact that he is so dry, and the fact that he delivers "I don't care" in the way that he does, as opposed to being like, "Get the fuck out of there," like, you know, whatever, whatever you're expecting, you're just saying, "I don't care." It's like, oh shit, this guy doesn't care, and that kind of became the prototype for a Tommy Lee Jones. That's like your volcano. That's you know, even
It's
even
Men in Black.
absolutely,
Oh,
exactly.
definitely.
He don't care
Yeah.
about no aliens either.
Authority figure. Finally,
Mhm.
he is an ultimate authority figure.
But it's interesting to watch him like wrestle with this in the 90s because like The Fugitive, unless I'm getting my dates wrong, The Fugitive definitely came before Batman Forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So like this whole like seriousness thing is in play while he is also tap dancing around with Jim Carrey playing Two-Face. He's just an interesting guy, man. He's
the
an
fu-
interesting guy.
The Fugitive is 93 as well. Wow, that's interesting.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess he came off of that. You know,
I wonder if
Yeah.
he filmed this first.
yeah, that would make some sense. I think.
That
Mhm.
sounds
He
right.
must have been just working though, because
Oh, yeah.
there's a ton of stuff. I mean, JFK is around this is 92, 93.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. God, yeah, he was a busy man. You know, him this was oh, you got something, Steve?
Oh no, I had a question. I was going to ask Jamelle. At what point did you realize this movie was out of control, insane?
I think I think I realized what so this in this prison scene when he escapes by blowing things up, pulling out like like some explosive liquid out of his mouth, like throwing it up and then creating a bomb and blowing it up. I was like, this is pretty crazy. But I think it's when he kills the first cop when I was just like, oh, okay. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
this is that kind of movie.
Him breaking out though and like vomiting up this condom
Yep.
with like whatever this liquid is. I do appreciate that this movie is like not getting bogged down in the believability about any of these devices. It's just like, trust us. This guy and Jeff Bridges are both really good at bomb stuff, and that's all you need to know. He's making a bomb right here. Do I know what's in that condom? Absolutely not.
And the bomb stuff looks pretty cool, I gotta say. Most
Mhm.
when they do give you the shots, there's not a lot of talk about the bomb shit. But whenever he's playing with like the crystals on the coffee filter and stuff like that, I was like, that seems correct. That looks right. And
yeah, like I don't know if it is, but that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And in this kind of a movie, cool equals accurate.
exactly.
It's like the visual equivalent of like some Star Trek gobbledygook.
Yep, absolutely.
It's like, oh, that's he's got like an orange liquid in that condom. Later, he's got some weird silver shit going on, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's all.
Mhm.
Yeah,
but-
I think that's like Mercury when he's got like the
Yes,
mousetrap device.
sure.
yeah.
I love how the bombs get increasingly Rube Goldberg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He is having fun making these bombs.
We should say this movie is directed. Stephen Hopkins directs the hell out of this movie.
Oh,
he really
man.
does.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
he is also responsible for another movie I watched a dozen times, The Ghost and the Darkness.
Yep.
Which is also a thrill ride with Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer hunting
Oh.
lions.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Okay.
Previous episode, Predator 2, and at some point, Judgment Night, which is another just great, crazy, dumb action movie.
You know what's weird? He also directed a nobody talked about it remake of The Fugitive. Like
Oh, really?
No.
2 years
What?
ago.
Oh,
Oh,
weird.
What?
With Boyd Holbrook and Kiefer Sutherland. And Kiefer Sutherland is in the Tommy Lee Jones role.
Oh, the TV show. Yes, this TV
It's
show.
a TV show? Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm looking
I
at
thought
it
it was
now.
a movie.
Yeah, but but it's
All
still, it's pretty weird. Boyd Holbrook.
Boyd Holbrook doing things.
Yeah, he would just he gets cast because he sounds like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so Tommy Lee Jones, blows a hole in the wall and then, I mean, uses his dead cellmate's body and a mattress to shield. Like, he murders this dude pretty violently, which was crazy. And then, he pulls out this other makeshift thing and just lays waste to this cop. Prison guard or whatever. And I was like, holy shit. And the dude goes flying like off the railing. And I was like, oh, this movie got really interesting in under 3 minutes. Well done.
And then he's got like a Nicolas Cage and Face Off level swim in front of him. from
Yeah,
this
yes.
castle. They don't show, of course, they don't show you exactly how he's getting from here to the mainland.
Right.
But the next time we see him, of course, he's in a pub.
But the thing you can't do is like have a scene like this and like the crazy action that it is and the violence and everything And then just cut to this fucking Big Head Todd and the Monsters song.
Hell yeah.
Come on. What were you saying, Steve? Sorry.
Well,
Before
no,
I
I was
started
just-
talking about Big Head Todd.
I was just curious. So Tommy Lee Jones's character escapes Ireland and goes to America, to Boston specifically, but not looking for Jeff Bridges. It's one of those in all the gin joints in all the world situations.
Yes,
Big
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Who would have guessed? He just, I mean, it was either Boston or New York. You know, that's where the Irish go.
I would really do not think too much about the timeline on this movie. We're about to hit one where it's absolutely insane, but that was one where I was just like, he gets out of there, gets a haircut, because the next time we see him, he's got like a kind of buzzy cut, not much on top thing.
He's got a Tommy Lee Jones haircut. at this point.
Yeah. But I was kind of like struck by how quickly this thing moves. But actually, that's for the better because the pacing's good.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we are in Boston. We are at a child's birthday party, and here struts in Jeff Bridges. Man, an early '90s Jeff Bridges. I mean, he's still a handsome dude now, but my goodness,
No, he
he's
looks
looking
incredible.
great.
He steps off
Oh.
that motorcycle, and you're just like, God damn.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it's so cool because, like, of course, like, it's the character, but also, of course, Jeff Bridges, I imagine IRL would be a hit at a child's birthday party. And he doesn't miss a beat. He gets into that backyard. He's playing with the kids. He's saying hi to everybody. He's playing pin the tail on the donkey. Just a huge hit.
One of the only lines this little girl has is like, "Why isn't that guy my dad?" And I'm like, you know what? All right, I would say the same thing.
I have no-
he does have it's just unreal amount of on-screen charisma. Just sort of
Yeah.
like, it's just sort of, he just utterly magnetic. I mean, that girl's mom is just sort of like, he's like, I can give you piano lessons to the girl, and her mom is like, yeah, at your house.
Oh, wow.
She says that so sexily for some reason, because it is sort of like, yeah, you could get piano lessons at your house, haha. But it's like, yeah, at your house, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
That Suzy Amos just barks at her.
the great Suzy Amos of what do you call it there? Usual Suspects fame, and not much else.
No,
Who is she in The Usual Suspects?
She's the lady that gets
Gabriel
is
Byrne's
the girlfriend. Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I guess I've seen her in two things. I don't know. It was she's fine. I don't think she's bad, but I just like scrolling through that IMDb profile.
She married James Cameron, and I think she kind of retired after that.
I see. Got it.
Which I guess you would do.
Yeah, well, just if you don't retire, you might accidentally find yourself in a fucking Avatar movie, and then there's trouble.
Yeah, you're just a background blue person. Maybe that's just what you're doing with your time. That's also possible.
Yeah, she's 5. I'm looking at her height now. She's 5'8". She could be a blue person for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good blue person height.
Why does the height of the actual person matter? They're all fucking cartoons.
It just helps, dude. You're not gonna get Danny
sure.
DeVito as a Navi, my friend. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that would just be a little unbelievable, unless he's very small.
We come in all sorts of sizes. Now look at my tail. So yeah, this massive bad New England accent is just truly something, and it's flying right away. And this guy's name, well, they're calling him JD or Jimmy. Jimmy Dove is the character's name. Kind of a great name.
A great name, but a name you would definitely be like, hey, if you're trying to hide your past and pretend that you're an actual, your name is, that's your real name, you don't go with Jimmy Dove. It's like James, Doohan, or not Doohan, but it's actually Star Trek. Or I was gonna say James Dorsey, James something, anything.
How about Johnny Innocence? That sounds like a good name. It definitely keeps people away.
Tommy Not a Terrorist is my name. How's it going?
The problem, though, is like, he flees, Ireland because of all the troubles, and he's hiding out. Dude, you got to go to like Oklahoma and give yourself a Polish last name. Like, what are we doing driving to the fucking Irish capital of America? And you're still calling yourself Jimmy? Come on now.
They should really have like upped the religious aspect of it, because like he is doing like penance by being on the Bob Squad.
Right.
Because he used to be he helped Tommy Jones make bombs when he was in his younger days, when they were running with the super duper IRA.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Chris. What this movie really needed is to crank up the Irish stereotypes. Just sort of like you have
All the way.
Guinness, you have like, lyrical Irish rhyme, make him super Catholic, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
the mad bombing is happening on St. Patrick's Day, the busiest day in Boston.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Irish Abel Ferrara is what I'm asking for here, folks.
Ooh, that might be something. So the fun and games is cut short because he gets a page. This pager sound, man, it went right up my spine.
Ooh.
Well, I
And
guess
so
if it's the bomb pager, you really got to make it loud because it's like, dude, there
Sure.
is a bomb somewhere.
absolutely.
Stop everything.
Yeah, this can't be drowned out by the Sundays in U2, please.
I will say, I mean, I'm sure the Boston PD has a bomb squad, but this bomb squad seems awfully busy.
Yeah.
Yes, right? What that and I feel like that you get these in these movies where it's like a movie about like a niche is the wrong word, but like a specialized part of a police force. And it's kind of the same thing sort of with those SWAT movies where it's like the SWAT team is awfully busy like for a week. And
In these movies, the SWAT team isn't busy. It is busy sort of like taking down drug kingpins, but in reality, the SWAT team is busy, I don't know, like harassing harassing someone for having like, a couple grams on them.
Or some poor son of a bitch that played the wrong game of Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah, they're busy fucking up a no-knock warrant or something. But this situation that Jeff Bridges finds himself in is straight out of another amazing bomber movie from the 90s,
Yes.
Live Wire with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Because like this is a ridiculous situation.
This is Live Wire after 2 cups of coffee. It's sobered up just a little bit, not all the way, just enough to like maybe like the 10 miles home aren't going to be so bad now.
Right, because I mean Live Wire, that is like some science fiction shit.
It's
with what's going on in that movie where they're drinking things and people are being turned into explosives. But like similarly at the start of that movie, there's a silly thing where Pierce Brosnan is helping this woman who says there's like a bomb in her car and he's like getting in the front seat. And there's a lot of like, between your legs jokes or whatever. And this is like, there is a woman in a computer lab in Cambridge that is stuck to a computer having to type love you repeatedly. If she stops, the bomb will go off. And you just hear like one of the people filling in Jeff Bridges like, yeah, her hacker boyfriend that set this whole thing up shot himself in the head after. And you're just like, wait, there's hackers involved now and blown away? Incredible.
And it gets even weirder because for something, if the computer maxes out on megabytes, then that's
right.
like, it's not a timer because that's like what he's doing when he's trying to disarm the bomb. He's like, how many megabytes do we have left? And I'm like, what?
Dude, he is yelling, bytes! What are the bytes? Oh my God.
It's
God
fantastic.
bless computers in early 90s movies when you can just assume that no one knows anything, right?
Yep.
There's no prior knowledge here. So yeah. If you keep on typing, the megabytes will fill up. Sure.
This motherfucker walks into this computer lab and starts doing the James Bond routine with her, like Jimmy Dove. And if I'm this lady who is like, 2 minutes away from oblivion, I'm like, get the fuck out there! Just shut up and get down there.
Yeah,
we're
enough
not,
with the yucks here.
I guess he's trying to put her at ease, Chris, but I kind of agree. Also, her ex-boyfriend, who's obviously abusive, is lying dead next to her. So I think she wouldn't be cackling.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so he just sort of works diligently. I mean, the funny thing is that it just like in Live Wire, though, there's another like, excuse me, I'm gonna have to get between your legs, ma'am. It's like, all right, just do it. Do whatever you have to do.
Shut the fuck up, I'm gonna die.
And I do think what I like about this movie at the very least, and it is overblown and crazy, is so he defuses the bomb, big hero guy, but we're playing with PTSD stuff here. He's like throwing up in a hallway kind of a thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? He's not exactly this infallible super cop, even though he kind of is, because he just happens to know which wire. It's always the red wire or whatever the hell it is, that kind of stuff. But he is still like kind of very haunted by his past, which is at least something.
Oh yeah, we start seeing these his crispy crittered ex-girlfriend We start seeing little images of her saying, Liam, help me, Liam.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and then that makes him vomit after he saves the love you bomb.
Mm.
The love you bomb. It's ridiculous. So, like, he saves the day and everything. Not thrilled by this is one of his partners, Blanket, played by Ruben Santiago-Hudson. And this guy rules. He basically gets just a ton of like administrative or like captain law enforcement type roles these days. Does a lot of TV and stuff. But like, I'm sorry, you name this character, and now like all these adults have to keep saying, "Hey, what happened to Blanket?
Yes.
Where's Blanket?" And I'm just like, man, I don't know. Isn't that like the name of Michael Jackson's one of his kids is Blanket or something? Like, what are we doing?
I think these movies depend on you remembering those names. Like,
Sure.
Lethal Weapon 2 does a similar thing because they're trying to kill off all of the team that are after them, and it's similar an explosive device in a what's it called, a diving board in that movie. But like,
right.
you need to be these movies count on you being able to recall who the character is when they like. You also remember Rita and Cortez.
Yeah,
and
right,
they give you, and these are it's the 90s, so my God, we got the miracle casting here where we have actors that you can actually remember and characters you can kind of remember, and you can connect to those names very quickly. Like, I remember Cortez, I remember Rita, and they only have maybe a dozen lines between them.
Yeah, this does a really good job, this movie, of like really sort of filling out tertiary characters who are nothing but fucking bomb meat at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also, I mean, like we were saying about the flashbacks too. Similarly, unless I'm remembering wrong, like Pierce Brosnan has a similar like beef with like a dead kid or something.
Yeah,
but it's not bomb related though, which is weird. I appreciate that Bridges' PTSD in this movie is bomb related. I think Pierce Brosnan's like, oh, my daughter drowned in a swimming pool or something.
That sounds right. Yes.
That swimming pool should have blown up, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Set it on fire.
Yep. Oh, exactly.
Yeah, and he realizes, he goes back to Suzy Amos. They have like a nice Italian dinner, and he's like, I'm done with the bomb squad. I'm going to start teaching bomb squad at the community college. A couple of I'm going to do bomb squad improv workshops as well. There's a lot of things you could do with that degree, is what I'm saying.
They're going to hire me to teach bomb squad in 101 and 102.
And she's like, it is kind of great because she's like, no, you're a bomb squad guy. I'd rather my boyfriend go out and nearly die every day. And he's like, isn't this better? Probably me quitting doing that.
He's like, I don't want you to regret leaving what you love. And he's like, I disarm bombs.
Yes.
And she says this after he's like, I'm throwing up after every job. And I'm, like, if you're getting physically ill, man, like, yeah, let's throw in the towel.
This is we are also missing the scene where Tommy Lee Jones is indeed back in the States, and he is in a bar, O'Dowell's, which we will return to soon, and he is about to pay for 3 shots of whiskey when he sees his old friend Jeff Bridges on the TV from doing all this, saving the MIT student.
Right.
And this is a pretty good, I gotta say, if you want to get out of paying for a drink, this is pretty good.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's being like, oh, that guy on the TV, that's my nemesis. Just like slowly pacing towards it and like, hey, you didn't drink did you pay for the, oh, never mind. Somebody needs a drink.
I gotta say, during the scene, I did get a little mixed up on the timeline because I was like, is he still in Ireland? Like, are they just like showing American local TV in Ireland? That seems pretty unusual.
Well, that's not half as bad as, so he proposes to Suzy Amos, and I'm not kidding you. It's one other scene and then the wedding.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's like, there's no like 3 months later, even. It's like, no, just, we were able to book it all in one night. We got it all done. Don't worry. The catering too.
And the other scene is him meeting Lloyd Bridges, who plays his uncle in this movie. And it's like, what are we doing, folks? Like, it's so confusing. They look exactly alike. It's obviously his father, but for whatever reason in this movie they are uncle and nephew, and he's Irish and he knows. I don't know if he was part of the IRA too, and they came over on the same boat or something. But again, you never know who's in the. I mean, honestly, I could have been in the IRA. You don't know. That's the scariest part about everything.
It seems to be a thing where it's like the two of them, because I was like watching this wrong. You don't know that Lloyd Bridges knows the score until later in the movie, like about Jeff Bridges and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Or does he know?
I think he says something like, "Oh, I'm looking for absolution." Is like you're never going to get it or something like that. So he knows. He kind of knows what his deal is. I think.
Yeah,
but it's like we're just kind of not openly talking about it or something.
I think they probably didn't make it his dad because then his demise might be a little too sad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I also like, it's amazing. Most of what Lloyd Bridges is doing in this movie has been like, all right, Jimmy, make sure you can fuck tonight.
Yes.
Hey, Jimmy, make sure you're drunk enough to fuck tonight. Make sure it's very important that you put your penis in your wife's vagina.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is a very sexy wedding. It's an Irish wedding for sure, because we're doing the step dancing and all this stuff, but it is about like these two middle-aged people are going to have sex after this wedding. And isn't that amazing?
And the whole room is thinking it.
Exactly.
Every last one of them is thinking it. It's incredible.
And honestly, that's what I'm missing so much from movies is this vibe.
Yes.
Like that. I forget who was just talking. I think Soderbergh just did an interview where he's like, what's my problem with these movies? Nobody's fucking. And like, when it's Suzy Amos is like, Lloyd Bridges is doing a toast, and Suzy Amos is like, he makes some joke about his dick.
Yeah.
And fucking Suzy Amos is like, don't you make fun of his dick. I'm going to suck that dick tonight. Shut up. And like, she's like, she's like, I'm going to take care of him. Don't you worry. I'm going to fuck the shit out of him.
I really thought when Lloyd Bridges was making that wedding speech that he was going to vomit off that balcony. I really thought that was going to happen, man. I love Tommy Lee Jones' expression when he notices or like is able to confirm that it's Jeff Bridges on the TV, because this accent is going out of control, and he's like, Jams Dove.
Yes.
Just screaming. It's so, I don't know, man. I didn't look in the credits, but it truly feels like there was no dialect coach on this at all.
No, it just you come as you are. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic because this is when we were also introduced to the great Forrest Whitaker in one of his like mid-90s I'm in this movie too, goddammit things, because that's what he like, you know what I mean, like they didn't necessarily know what to do with him. It was before he had like real gravitas. I mean, he had gravitas, but they didn't really treat him with gravitas, so he would always be in like this Species. He's always like part of the team, and he's always the most interesting one, and you can't take your eyes off him. This one, he starts by dancing incredibly, and I'm like, this guy, you want to talk about who's getting laid tonight? It's Forrest fucking Whitaker.
Absolutely, man.
It's funny that he does like it. He was never like as nefarious as Tommy Lee Jones was in his, but it was the same thing where when he was younger, he was known for his energy. Like he did this and like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm trying. There's another one.
The Color of Night is my favorite. The Color of Money is my favorite.
Oh man,
yeah.
When he just schools Paul Newman, and Paul Newman has to weep about it after losing all of his money to this kid. One of my favorites.
I mean, Platoon. I mean, there were so many. Stakeout. He's really good in Stakeout. But like, like he just went from like Jones. He turned to gravitas suddenly, and he became an authauthority figure.
Yes.
But he is good here.
He's massive. I mean, that's the thing. Sort of like one of his great assets. It's just like a giant fucking guy. And he can use that really well to communicate authority and also sort of like an almost bullying energy about it.
Bullying energy is a really great descriptor here specifically, I think, Jamelle, because like he like announces himself to this movie with the dancing and everything, and like we learn that he is like replacing Jeff Bridges on the bomb squad, which is also it's such a weird, like, we invited your job replacement to your wedding reception. Kind of weird.
He's crashing.
Oh,
He's
is
crashing,
it crashing?
Yeah, he's crashing. He makes a big deal about how he's crashing.
Oh, okay, I missed that. But even better then, because it's just like, yeah, I'm at your fucking wedding, Jeff Bridges. Here I am taking your job. Pay attention to me. And then, like, sure enough, he is the only one that is fucking onto these shenanigans from the jump.
Yes.
And he's
I
great.
just love how whenever, especially in this early part of the movie, whenever he's talking to Jeff Bridges, he's like doing his blinking and then sort of like whispering thing, like, yeah. And he always seems like he's on the verge of being like, Yeah, you can eat my ass, Bridges.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
And like he plays it, it's like cocky, but you're right. Like he just does not give a shit about this old man.
There's this line of I think it's Blanket I think it's Blanket and Rita. There's these line of little like jokes they make about Forrest Whitaker that I did not understand. One was, who is he? Oh, that's Clarence Thomas's acting coach. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
The other one was hung like a China mule. I'm like, what the fuck do I not know about mules in China?
Just say hung like a mule. Like I get that. I get.
What the fuck?
I guess I have to just make it like a little bit racist because it's Boston.
Sure, yeah. I guess.
You ought to spice that in there, dude.
I mean, I don't know though. Like, why would you miss a great opportunity for alliteration that he's hung like a horse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
The
fine.
H to the H is, I don't know.
You were overthinking
China
it.
mule.
You didn't want to be normal and you went too far.
I do like though that he's like, yeah, because the character's name is Anthony Franklin, and he's like, Bridges, is like, oh yeah, welcome to my wedding reception there, Tony. And he's like, Anthony, my name is Anthony, motherfucker. That is what you're going to call me through the rest of the time I am at your fucking wedding reception.
You know what this reminded me of? This is totally random. It reminded me when I was a kid and someone called, my dad's name is James. Someone called my dad Jim, and my dad gave this person like the "I'm going to murder you" look. Like,
Whoa!
I promise you I'll kill your entire family if you call me Jim again.
It's a thing, man. If somebody here's the rule. Somebody introduces themselves as such, and you have a full year until you're allowed to shorten that name. Like once you really get to know that person, maybe you want to play around with shortening that name. Other than that, no.
You're totally right, dude. It's just so presumptuous and annoyingly casual about it. So of course, what happens? We're trying to have this wedding reception, and those beepers are going off again. Bomb squad needed once again in the city of Boston.
Yeah, it is kind of a situation like Hannibal, the TV show, where it just happens to be that everybody is a serial killer.
Yeah,
a very
totally.
unique stylistic serial killer within like a 50-mile block radius of Baltimore.
It's like John Wick. Everyone's either a bomb squad member or a bomber.
Totally.
And they go to the bomb squad hotel and exchange your doubloons.
Dude, if it's just like Jeff Bridges going into this fucking bank vault and Lance Reddick is showing him all these cool bombs, I'd be down for it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, welcome to Yosemite Sam's.
Oh my God, yes, I want this now. I want this movie. Oh yeah, right this way. Come with me, Jimmy, to the bomb vault.
I love, also, what was Tommy Lee Jones's plan for America? Was he just going to lay low and like, teach, you know what I mean, like teach poetry or something, and then he sees Jeff Bridges on TV and he gets the Kill Bill noise in his brain, kind of a thing.
That's why the whole like accidental running into him on TV is just so weird. I mean, it should just be he knows that Jeff Bridges is there, and that's why he's going to exact revenge.
I don't think that this movie has a runtime problem necessarily. It's 2 hours long. But it does have a problem of paying off Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones together, because it takes the movie 50 minutes for them to do the phone thing that we want them to do, because it's a 90s action movie. Yep. I want that a lot earlier and a lot more often. There's just not a lot of interplay between the two of them.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that, but they're separated so much throughout this movie. Yeah, you're totally right. Because, I mean, so much of it is Jeff Bridges like cold on the trail of Tommy Lee Jones, I guess. But so yeah, the beepers go off and we got to go. And Jeff Bridges is doing like the, okay, now I guess I'm staying behind now. And dude, famous last words, Blanket can handle it. Yeah, is what they tell him. Like, no, Jimmy, don't leave your own wedding reception. Blanket's got it under control. And so they all roll out. And we get like there's almost a little bit of a hotel sex here on our wedding night, but we cut away. But and this was the Soderbergh's point, right? It's like you don't expressly need like a gratuitous sex scene, but know those two characters are getting down.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just have to act like somebody's horny. That's it. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody was surprised that Soderbergh was so into sex in movies? You'd be like, well, you know what his first movie was called, right? It's the first one.
Good point. So he wakes up in the middle of the night, deaf postcoital, and he's just like worried about the team. Nobody's checked in yet, so he calls. This hotel room, by the way, gorgeous balcony. He's bringing the phone out here.
They're at the
it's
Four
unbelievable.
Seasons. They
Four
say,
Seasons Boston,
specifically,
baby.
yeah.
Wow, gorgeous shit. And boy, it's a fucking cool. I like the way that they set all this up. Is like he calls in. They haven't heard back from the team yet, but don't worry, Blanket can handle it. And Jeff Bridges just sees this mushroom cloud on the other side of town. Holy shit.
Well, and mind you, when he makes this phone call, Cortez, of course, because it's somebody in this movie, reminds him, make sure you fuck your wife.
That's
Make
right.
sure.
Do you need
Before-
advice? I can help you out. I have tips, I have pointers.
I'm Cuban. I can do it. I have hips, you know.
I'm like 39 years old, right? And she's already had a kid. Like we're good. We figured it out. We know what's going on.
They do such a cool. I mean, it's maybe reads a little cheesy, but I was so into this movie. I thought it was awesome. Like when that bomb goes off, you see the explosion like superimposed in Jeff Bridges' eyes. Like,
Yes.
This movie rocks, man. I'm sorry. That's dumb, but it's totally awesome.
Well, it's very urgent, and nobody like the thing with like there. I could go on for hours about what I like about Bridges, but like one thing he did really good at this point in his career was he looked good screaming and urgent and panicked.
Yep.
You're
Like
totally
this-
right, dude.
This and Arlington Road
Yep.
are completely floated by the fact that he can do this kind of acting for a long time.
He is screaming up and down Arlington Road, up and down that movie. He's yelling.
An insane movie that will be talked about in this program at some point.
Oh, absolutely. But like,
and
even,
probably on Jamelle's as well. I think
Oh,
he's,
Yeah,
he's,
that's
Yeah,
definitely
actually-
on our definitely
he's,
on our
he's
file.
such a Tim Robbins like a domestic terrorist in that.
Yes. Yeah. Huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's some real. I don't know. Eric would name one Turner Diaries kind of guy.
No,
right?
you know that Susan Sarandon got in his ear and he became a domestic terrorist. That's what happened.
Oh yeah. She's always
I
up
mean-
to something.
If Susan Sarandon, like circa '93, was like whispering, radicalization in my ear, I would.
Yep.
I would. Yeah.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, I'd turn on this flag in 2 seconds. Absolutely. Great point.
Yeah.
I love also like this movie that they do. I looked up some stuff that they did talk to a lot of people from the Boston Bomb Squad for it, et cetera, et cetera. At what point in the Bomb Squad experience is like, I don't know, just shoot it?
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like at what steps need to be crossed off? Like we tried everything, just give it, just shoot at it for a bit. Well, that'll get rid of it.
Look, it's way up high. Do you see how high it is? I don't know how else you're gonna get it down except shoot it.
That's one of those scenes like in bomb school where like all the smart kids are trying all these like, you take off this wire and then reroute it to this thing. And then like the dumb guy up front is like, shoot at it. Correct. Correct you are, Dudley.
And man, if there was ever a case for like a good Samaritan to report something they heard near a crime scene to the police department, it's when Tommy Lee Jones, very close to the blast site, just goes, "And on your wedding day, Liam." And there is this dude standing in front of Tommy Lee Jones that gives a side-eye look that can only say, I wonder if that guy had something to do with it.
You know what?
That does absolutely nothing.
The way I read that scene is that Tommy Lee Jones thought that was Liam, and then was like, oh, wrong guy.
Oh, that's a great point, because that is like goal number one is assassinate Bridges. And I guess he just doesn't know about the retirement.
And then he's like, oh, I guess I'm going to do a systematic assassination of this whole bomb squad team instead.
Oh man, it is awesome. We get Blanket's funeral reception. There's a woman beautifully singing in the house, which was cool. These kinds of like, we're all getting together to mourn somebody, but we're also like getting wasted and watching baseball. Those are like the best kinds of post-funeral receptions.
Here's the thing, and you want to get you want to get wasted. You're a bunch of cops. It makes total sense. Let's save the baseball game for another time. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's I mean, like I love the New York Knicks, man, and I would be pretty offended if you guys watched a Knicks game while during my funeral.
Yeah, after such a violent act too, I might just be a little bit. I mean, it is kind of affecting that they show his body.
Oh yeah,
when they show his face with the 8-ball hemorrhage, like.
Yeah,
it is really haunting. Like to know that it's not just you just go get burned up in crispy critter and that's it.
Totally,
something
yeah.
like this happens, and like then to go, as you say, and have to watch the Red Sox pitch one out.
And Lloyd Bridges is going on about the spread and how good it is. I mean, they're treating this like a cookout.
Yeah, no, totally. Like in those kind of situations, it's like, oh, everything was very lovely. You know, I think Blanket would have really appreciated this. Not just like, oh man, did you have that dip? It's like French onion, but they put like dill in it or something. It's outrageous.
Oh my God, the roast beef.
Oh, come on, what are you swinging at everything for? I'm sorry, terribly sorry for your loss, by the way.
Paulie, are you going over to the carving station? I need more roast beef.
I'm impressed they shelled out for the Sam Adams.
Could you ask the bereaved if we could get some more salami out here?
The poor widow Blanket, man.
Yeah.
And his mother. I mean, like, why don't we get a couple cutaways to them just being like, what are these people doing?
Can we get all these asshole cops out of the house, please?
But this is when Bridges wants to get back on the force because he wants to solve this crime because he realizes something they're dealing with a professional. You know, it's the 90s.
He's fucking being a shithead about it, though, dude. He's throwing Forrest Whitaker under the bus right here. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you know, Tony's not ready or whatever. And it's like, man, you're retired, dude. Come on. But the craziest thing, though, I mean, this was a real, you know, I'm glad I never have to speak with children because, like, the daughter is, like, I guess the stepdaughter or whatever is like, oh, you know, Jimmy, did it hurt Blanket when he died? And I'm like, yikes, man. You know, and he's like, no, it didn't. And you're like, I don't know, man. I saw that body and you're about to explain to me in the next scene how he died. That dude definitely felt it. Don't worry about it.
Well, no, he's just saying that and then cross his fingers. Hope that's not a serial killer I just made there. Really hoping I didn't make a serial killer there.
I mean, I'll say kids who just ask that stuff. Like, we live right by a cemetery, and my toddler's always like, "What are those?" Putting it the headstones. Like, you know,
Rock Farm.
Good.
It was pretty rad getting this early on Cuba Gooding Jr. cameo here.
When it happened, I forgot it. It happened. And I was like, "Oh shit, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this movie." And then I was like, "Oh wait, no, he's not." It was
I had the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wait, it's 1994. He's just kind of going to be in this one scene, isn't it?" But yeah, he and Forrest Whitaker are kind of like horsing off in Jeff Bridges' bomb class that he's teaching, and I guess like Bridges must have really said something to that captain because all of a sudden now Forrest Whitaker's got to go back to take these classes. That's fucked up.
Well, he seems to have a lot of authority in the place, and he's having a big Mr. Hands moment here because they are goofing off, and he wants him to tell him how to disarm a bouncing Betty. And you get a sense with the Cuba Gooding Jr. I get the feeling like they just cast him because he looked good, and they noticed how good he was because there's like. You notice when Forrest Whitaker steps on this, it's like a mine. That levitates when you step off of it and explodes. When this is happening, they hold on Cuba Gooding Jr. Like he does a whole little like scene when he's leaving, and I'm like, wow. I mean, it really you could see he's a star immediately.
Totally, dude. And you know who knew? Just a few short years later, he'd be in that Robert De Niro racist Navy man movie.
Oh, Men of Honor.
Yeah, there it is. Saw that in theaters.
Yes,
never did.
Together.
But it's like this thing where Forrest Whitaker steps on a mine, and you know he gets sprayed with like red paint, and Tommy Lee Jones is posing as a janitor. Like, I kind of want the scene where he actually has to clean that entire room, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, you are you're posing as a janitor. You get to put the bomb in the bomb squad robot, but you would have cleaned that fucking room, dude. Somebody's got to get that done.
And I guess like this Boston bomb squad school or whatever is like totally fine hiring a dude with no papers. Like,
sure.
Yep.
Like that's what I need. And I mean, it doesn't matter because again, this is like a, you know, fast-paced Mad Bomber movie. But I was like, really? Tommy Lee Jones, like just getting a job here instantly at the exact school you need to be in, and your janitorial route takes you exactly to the classroom you need to be at.
Or I guess maybe he just showed up with a broom and just hoped for the best. Nobody's gonna say, "Hey, get out of here."
Put a little
that tight 90s labor market. He just kind of showed up and he was like, I'm willing to work.
You're welcome, baby. Yeah, so then Tommy Lee Jones goes out, and this is, I guess, like, we're seeing his motivation for Rube Goldberg type devices, because he's buying this like Rube Goldberg type toy off this kid. I missed the setup here. Is this like a yard sale or some shit?
It's like
Or like a farmer's market?
It's like a farmer's market, more like it. Yeah, because they're selling, Suzy Amos is selling cupcakes with her kid at the end of it. But yeah, this is where he gets a like mousetrap, like a little ball bearing goes down the loop through the thing kind of thing.
Those toys.
Little toy thing. And then he also is told by this mother, have you heard of U2?
Oh, God.
And he gets the Joshua Tree, which everybody loved at the time and couldn't get enough of.
My question is, if he were to survive this movie, do you think he would have been disappointed by U2's later output, or just kind of been one of those like Uber fans? It's like, no.
No, because he'd be a human being with ears, so of course he would hate it.
They put their Bleeding album right on my phone.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
He'd be pissed off about that for sure. God damn.
I gotta say, I have never willingly listened to a U2 song. Like, it's never happened. Like, I've never gone on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, and like sought out U2 and listened to a song. And I intend to keep it that way. It's gonna be one of those things.
Keep the streak alive.
I will be on my deathbed and I'll say, never listen to U2. Couldn't give a fuck about Bono.
And then also I love Tommy Lee Jones, like tourist videographer, which like he's not. I figured at some point there was going to be some tape that was like mailed to Jeff Bridges or something like that, where it's like, I've been watching you this whole time. Like, what is the purpose of all the video surveillance?
I mean, I guess it's just to get close enough to figure out, because he also does it to like Forrest Whitaker, etc. I think he's just trying to find their habits and find their weaknesses, kind of a thing.
But I think like he was also just like any man at this time who just loved having a video camera.
It's true.
And like was really obsessed with having and taping everything. Because remember, he does send little terrorist tapes, little sketches and skits.
I don't know what
what is that tape?
It's real. It's like if you're Lord Michaels, look at what I could do.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, man, you're absolutely right. I got all these characters.
I went to the Dollar General and I found a whole wardrobe for myself.
Yeah, he's doing like bits with like masks on. He's wearing like a Statue of Liberty mask at some point. And again, like, credit to Tommy Lee Jones, he's just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's embarrassing to do it, but he's doing it.
Well, he's doing it, and he's thinking about the fucking apartment he's building over the garage.
Exactly.
With the paycheck.
And you imagine in the behind the scenes, he's talking to Stephen Hopkins and be like, now I'm wearing a mask during those tapes. I will do a lot, but I'm not doing that thing with my bare face on that. Absolutely not.
So Bridges goes back to the site of the bomb that they shotgunned and got Blanket killed, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. And is this also because he has Forrest Whitaker here with him too, and they're trying to figure it out. And he realizes that like what happened was the bomb was rigged so that a projectile ricocheted off one thing and bounced in and hit Blanket, at just the right angle, because Blanket was like kind of hidden by something.
Yes.
And Bridges realizes, the person who set the bomb knew that Blanket would stand here to shoot and deactivate it, and he set this whole thing up. We are dealing with way beyond what we thought. Like, this is a true pro. Kind of really makes me feel like this guy I learned to make bombs by. Forrest Whitaker's like, what's that, Jeff Bridges? Oh, nothing.
Oh, nothing. Oh, by the way, there's another bomb, because there's a bomb every day in Boston now.
Well, now, yes, and this is great because it's all about the robot the robot fucks up the first one with the computer, and they're like, you know what, this robot stinks, and like this time the robot saves the day, but the robot has been co-opted by Tommy Lee Jones, and now he's turning against his friends. The robot's got like tears in his eyes before he explodes and he kills Cortez.
I would love that if Tommy Lee Jones has to like the robot's at a bar and Tommy Lee Jones sidles up to him. And he's
exactly.
Like, you work for the bomb squad, do you? How are they treating you over there? Oh yeah, they give you good pay, do they? Oh yeah, they give you enough oil.
If you're buying, I'm drinking, and like, he just slips something into his drink.
No, get away. I am not in control of my own motherboard.
Cortez, I love you. Get far away.
Do you think the robots on bomb squad teams retire the way canine dogs do?
I mean, you get thrown in the garbage.
Well, sure, but before that, there's like a little bit of a ceremony or something.
Yeah,
like, you know, the bomb 5,000, you know, 6-year veteran of the force.
There's some like retiree like captain who's like taken one of the bomb disposal fucking robots and turned it into like a beer grabbing robot.
Oh,
Like, we'll
definitely,
go out
dude.
to the other refrigerator you have in the garage to get you a Heineken.
This is not how I envisioned my golden years. So the captain like refuses again to let him back on, you know, the squad officially, and then this is like we're packing up, you know, from the scene or whatever, and like Jeff Bridges, what does he do? He looks at like a piece of Play-Doh and it's got an imprint of a logo that's on the robot, and that's how he pieces together there's another bomb in the robot or something.
Manfred.
Yes.
Yeah, the name of the he's got the name, it's called Manfred. And there is this beautiful like a 90-second slow motion Jeff Bridges running through this crowd, eyes ablaze, screaming Cortez, Rita, and trying as best he can to warn these helicopters to leave. Like, what are you doing? Leave your energy for running to your buddies. Don't be trying to communicate with the birds.
Well, you say 90 seconds. It felt like 20 minutes for him. Like, he is screaming. Everyone is getting in this guy's way. Every single person.
What is he saying? What's that? What do you mean? Who's Rita?
It looks like there are cops that are actively trying to stop him, though, which is weird. And you gotta be like, use more words than Jeff Bridges. Like, there is a bomb in the robot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get out of my way, officer fucking Hanahan or whatever. Come on.
I mean, I just like how Cortez is like, oh, I wonder what that's about. I guess I'll keep doing what I was doing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. There's this like, he's about to turn a key, and we realize because we're doing a close-up on the hand touching the key that this will indeed activate this bomb. This movie is very good about telegraphing that stuff, but keeping it very tense. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jamelle, he's totally like, what's that? Oh, I thought I heard something. Well, anyway, back to unlocking this box.
But that's a slight indictment of the media there, because he turns around and for some reason doesn't see Jeff Bridges wailing his arms or anything. He's distracted by the news helicopters.
Yes.
He looks up and he's like, never mind, robot. Turns the key.
One of the whirly birds up there. Got it.
Never mind.
In this explosion, you see Rita and Cortez fucking get it.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. We got some grade A dummy work happening here, my friends, and it's, oh God, I'm all about
it. That's the 90s.
They are incinerated. It is glorious.
It's the 90s difference, right, Jamelle? Because like now it would you just see the big explosion. You're like, oh wow, those people got it. No. To see there's just a husk of a dummy move from one end to the other, get blown away. I'm like, now I'm watching a movie from 1994, and I'm really happy to do it.
Yep. Yeah, I can't recall the last time I watched a movie that so went above and beyond living up to its title.
People are getting blown away.
I mean, you are just looking like, Jesus Christ, one explosion bigger than the next, or bigger than the last, rather. You know what I mean? Incredible stuff.
And you don't even get time to take in the all the dead bodies before you hear the phone call and sound like an anthem of an independent Ireland or something like that. I don't know what this song is that's being blared over the phone.
I don't know.
But it's Tommy Lee, but it's Tommy Lee Jones doing his Joker moment here.
What is the deal, though? Like, whose phone is this? Like, how did that not get destroyed in the blast? Is it Jeff Bridges' phone? I didn't understand where this telephone came from.
Yeah, I don't know that either.
You know what? They just the villain needs to talk to the good guy, and
that's right.
It's okay. Well, no matter what, it's just okay.
Did I catch you at a bad time,
Yes.
Liam? Oh man.
And I'd be like, who is this? I mean, I know like, he's your arch nemesis from long ago, but it would take me a really long time, especially what with the bomb going off. I'm like, what? No, no, it's Jimmy.
My fucking ears are still bleeding. Like, I
Exactly.
can't talk on the phone right now, Tommy Lee Jones. Are you kidding me?
And this, because I saw this movie as a kid, it was a real like at my dad's house kind of a movie, obviously, because it's a day afternoon and a half. And this I remember really clearly because it's him taunting him, and he's in the daughter's room, and the next 20 minutes is this incredible sequence because he just taunts him on the phone, and he's like, blah blah blah. Oh, I gotta go. Your wife and daughter are home, and he jumps on the motorcycle. More Jeff Bridges yelling. And this is like Suzy Amos going around this house, like, when is she going to blow up? And we do.
Yep.
And the movie does such a great job of like sucking you in that way because there's so much like impossible zooms going on to the little girls using the stove. It's fantastic.
It's so smart. And like it starts immediately with like you hear Kate say, did you leave the window open? And I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And like everything is making you shit your pants. Like they have a really great, you wonder the choice of angle at first, but there's this like high angle shot looking down at them in the kitchen. And then you realize like what is in the foreground, this light bulb. And she's like reaching for the string and you're like, oh fuck.
Exactly.
And then nothing, and then it's like the close up on her dialing the phone and oh fuck. The garlic bread in the oven. Oh fuck. And it's a movie that knows that you've seen movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is using that against you. And like to have that kind of like respect for the audience, man, especially in just like an off the rails action movie like this. Bravo for putting the thought into it.
It works really well. I remember this sequence like from the first time I saw it. I was like, holy fucking shit. I do kind of wish you just got one like normal quotidian thing, like she changes the water in the vase.
Yes.
It's like there's something you got to take the back of the toilet off and check the little thing and make sure it's actually filling up again, just in the middle of almost dying.
What I would love is at the end of the scene when they're actually having dinner, the little girl finally takes a bite of garlic bread and like then she explodes like the garlic bread was wired to blow the entire time somehow.
Sim Jims makes a garlic bread now. Macho Man comes out.
But
Don't bite down.
Here's the thing, because we've seen so many of these cops get killed in quick succession, it does really feel like that. Like this kid could get it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's on the table.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's the thing, right? As soon as you see like that prison guard at the beginning get fucking totally destroyed with that, little incendiary device there or whatever, all bets are off in this movie. Anything is possible. And yeah, when we get into like gleefully killing cops, anything is possible. Everyone's a target in this movie.
And Jeff Bridges comes home and rushes them out, and he looks in the closet and he believes that Tommy Lee Jones killed the dog, but the dog could have committed suicide. We're not sure. I want a coroner's report. The dog could have been depressed. Who knows?
It was too much tension. You and this bomber, it's just too much. I gotta get out of here.
And it's my favorite Jeff Bridges line because he finally has to he's like burying the dog, and Suzy Ames is like, oh my God, this is so terrible. And he has to come clean, like, I'm not who you think I am. And he's like, it's this guy, Garrett. He killed my fucking dog. And it's like, it's just like, I don't know. The way he says it is so Jeff Bridges. It makes me, it filled my heart with love.
I mean, because like it's such a, I don't know, like it's like you could also just as easily hear him saying like, they pissed on my fucking rug, man. Like it's the same. He killed my fucking dog. He peed on my rug.
Because it's all too much. I mean, what is he gonna? He can't like. It's way too much at this point. He's almost revealed to be this fucking convict, and then his two best friends just died. So like, this is just the topper. Like, this is just the thing that fucking tipped it all over.
What a week. And she is very supportive of his IRA past. I feel like my wife wouldn't be so much so if I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I know we just got married, and the night before we got married, you're like, is there anything else you want to tell me? And I said nope. And what I was sitting on was a different name and a couple of murders.
Stephen, I love you
Couple of
very much,
murders.
but if you looked like a 94 Jeff
Yeah, that's a
Bridges,
good
I'd
point.
be allowing whatever your IRA, whatever the bad things you did, that's fine.
It's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good call. You think in 1994 John Goodman would get away with this story? Or what?
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
But yeah, he says his name is Liam McGivney. He was born and raised in Belfast. And then this is the part where he's talking because he's telling her about Tommy Lee Jones. And she's like, oh, the IRA? And he's like, no, he's too crazy for that.
He's in the super duper, the IRA league. Nobody
Yeah.
knows about it. It's underground.
Dude, and then this is where he's also screaming at Lloyd Bridges, like in the very next scene, because Lloyd Bridges is like, oh, I'll make a few calls or whatever. And he's just like, I don't want you getting involved.
Yeah.
Screaming at your own father in a movie. That must have been kind of cathartic for him.
Well, I mean, also in this moment, you're like, oh, so he's dead. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
There he goes. Okay.
Because he's going to get involved.
Of course he is.
Yeah, exactly. But the bit of advice that Lloyd Bridges does give to him is he's like, all right, don't tell your squad everything about you. Like, you just need to tell them like what they need to know, but don't give up the whole story. And he's like, got it. And that's when he's like, yeah, so I dialed Interpol, the number of which I memorized.
My best friends at Interpol told me that he comes from Ireland and I don't know him. Just in case you were wondering.
But it's like he says this about Interpol, and you look like Forrest Whitaker, like the fucking bullshit alarm is going off immediately. Like, you are already on thin ice with this bad story, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, who has sent Suzy Amos and Lizzie to Max. Lloyd Bridges has a cottage in Cape Cod on the beach. What the fuck was Max doing before this?
He's a retired Boston cop. He probably has a great pension.
Oh man, yeah. Well, also a couple bribes.
Yeah, totally. Not to mention all the fucking under the table pension.
Oh, yeah, please.
And I mean, he's got this crazy hot tub situation, which we should
Oh,
talk about a
man.
little bit.
This little fucking cesspool he's got here. Ew.
And also, this movie is very because it's obviously filmed in the summer or the early spring. Well, actually, no, yeah, because it's 4th of July, and it makes Boston look like a tropical location. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is so hot in Boston. It's a very odd look for Boston from my recollection.
But what's weird though is like you're looking at Lloyd Bridges trying to get this hot tub churning in multiple scenes, and like it's him in this yard. They live somewhere in Boston. I don't know exactly where. It's no, grand palatial estate. They're just living in like middle class houses or whatever. And Lloyd Bridges has this hot tub, but then it's like you're looking at a hot tub, but it's also just the disgusting New England gray sky, and you're like, I don't know, Lloyd Bridges, this isn't hot tub weather at all.
No.
I
if
think
you're wasted, it is, though, by the way.
Well, of course. I mean, then it's always time for a hot tub. But like, I think it's just because he's he's always sweating. So this movie feels hotter than it even should be at this point.
Right. Well, because he's running around screaming at everybody.
And this is around the time when the headphone bomb.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yes.
just about to say. I think this is where we're at the Forrest Whitaker goes to put on some Aretha, and there's a. I mean, this is like the most ridiculous bomb in my opinion. Just sort of like it's sort of it is the bomb in the garlic bread moment, right? Like it's just
Yes.
I was like, when you show Tommy Lee Jones making this bomb, he's using a contact solution or a contact case, like an old school contact case with the L and the R. And I was like, if he puts a bomb in someone's contacts, it was in play because I hadn't seen this movie in a while. I'm like, is there a bomb in someone's contacts? But you're right, Jamelle. This is as crazy as that.
I mean, you do that, dude. You're the greatest bomb maker of all time.
But yes, it's like, oh, as he puts it on, he hears a beeping, and it's so fast. I was cackling, and thankfully he had this enormous office phone in his house that he was able to auto dial with.
Well, that's the thing, man. This is a lesson to anybody who's moving to a new place. As soon as you get in, program your old office phone and make sure you can one touch dial your fucking office, especially if your bomb disposal unit.
Yeah, everyone make sure you can one touch dial the bomb squad. It's incredibly important.
It's really we had this one incident. I'm not going to get into it, but boy howdy was it important.
Well, that's like, we had the phones where they gave you a space for like, the fire department and poison control. There should have been one with just like a little explosion cartoon, and that's your speed dial for the bomb squad.
Well, if you're in Boston at this point, absolutely. If it's happening once a day that there's a bomb going off,
that's a very fair point.
Off.
In this Boston where bombs are ubiquitous, wherever where you turn, there is a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, they're giving out bomb squad numbers when you like rent an apartment. Hey, so this is your supervisor. I mean, this is where you can go to get a great slice, and this is the bomb squad. You want to keep this one close.
Yeah, you'll need it. Trust me.
The bomb squad has a rivalry with the police and the fucking firemen.
Yes, they're all playing each other in hockey and shit. Yeah, exactly. We hate the fucking bomb squad.
Well, I guess So if the police are the bravest, are the finest, the firemen are the bravest. What's the bomb squad? Craziest? Is that
craziest?
Yeah, it's got to be the craziest.
Yeah.
Literally the craziest people that could ever live.
I loved Tommy Lee Jones here. It's right before. So I'm not backing us up too much, but it's right before the headphones are sort of turned on or activated or whatever. Forrest Whitaker is doing some exercise outside, like he's running up these stairs or whatever. Tommy Lee Jones, again, this little shutterbug. He's got this fucking camcorder filming Forrest Whitaker exercising while wearing this like Jesus and the Mother Madonna fucking party shirt. What is this?
He might as well be wearing a shirt that says "Too crazy for the IRA." Like literally, that is the shirt he should be wearing.
This outfit would get him so laid in Brooklyn today.
Yep.
This outfit he's got going on, this cap and this shirt, and the camera, the shutterbug thing would help him, I think.
And so he's it's Jeff Bridges and this other guy show up. This other guy's in a couple of scenes. He's just another member of the bomb squad.
Oh, Bama. You know who this dude is?
No, I do not.
I mean, he's not really a huge guy or anything, but he is Jeff Bridges' like go-to stunt double or stand-in or whatever.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So he's I guess done a bunch of movies with Jeff Bridges.
That's funny because that you say is a nothing, Steve, but like the whole point in every time he shows up is for him to be like, hey, don't worry, Jeff Bridges will take care of it.
Yes.
He's in when they go to the MIT, the MIT lady at the beginning. He's there, and they're like, don't smoke a cigarette while you're near a bomb. And then Jeff Bridges lights a cigarette and goes and diffuses the bomb. It's fucking incredible.
It's a real watch me moment.
And he does the same thing here, where the astrology wife thing, the wife and the woofer.
Yeah, because he's like, my wife said to beware of large dogs, and this is a woofer, so I guess I'm totally screwed.
Can I go home, do you think? I mean, you got two people here. You don't need me, right?
There is a good Jeff Bridges delivery of the titular line here, because Forrest Whitaker says something about like, it's something like, I can't die, like I'm a hero, I can't go out like this or whatever. And Bridges says, you know what happens to heroes in this outfit? They get blown away.
Yes.
And it works. I'm not often a fan of titular lines, but this one worked.
And they basically have to, cut the wire at the same time. Him and again, like this movie does take its time. It's super tense. Like you're pretty sure he's gonna make it, but at the same time, again, this movie is totally insane. So you're like, what is going to happen next?
Yeah, and I it's pretty cool how, like, after all this stuff with like my wife said beware of a big dog or whatever, Jeff Bridges is like, or I think maybe Forrest Whitaker makes the suggestion. They're like, oh well, Forrest Whitaker can cut the thing. We don't need you here, Bama. One less life to put on the line here.
You have to resign the next day, though. I mean, if you opt out of defusing a bomb for the bomb squad, and again, I would never do that. I would never be in the bomb squad at all. So I'm not brave, but you just got to be like, yeah, that was it for me, guys. That's that's the end of me. Mailman
can no longer hold my head up along my friends, so I got to go home. Got to go home now.
I do like Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, like Jeff Bridges is like working on trying to figure out like the wiring or whatever. And Forrest Whitaker keeps like scaring him by just talking really loudly because he's got, the music on and the beeping and whatever. And he's basically saying stuff like, oh, well, going out to, listening to Aretha Franklin, like, that's not too bad and all this stuff, like really sort of resigned to, he might eat shit here. I love, we're getting a little De Palma here, a little split diopter shot going on.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You're looking at the two of them, they got to cut this at the exact same time. And, Bridges goes, you scared, Tone? And Whitaker's like, shitless, which is, fucking great. But you do a little split diopter shot there. I'm such a sucker for it. Ooh.
I'd be like,
better start believing in bombs because you're in one.
I'd be like, man, I'm about to meet my maker. Could you call me by Anthony, please? Is that
I've corrected you on this so much, and I just feel like if this is the last time I ever hear my name spoken aloud, I would like it to be said properly.
But so now they're in it together, and this is when, I think this is when
we take a beach break right here.
Oh, we do take this insane beach scene, which is Suzy Amos is like, and again, like, you are in hiding. Your daughter should never be that far away from you in general, my guess.
Yep.
I'm not a parent, so I don't know, but I've also never been on the run. But I feel like if I were, and I were.
Yeah. Oh, no. You should be inside Lloyd Bridges' house with the fucking shades drawn and the doors locked and the lights off.
I might also just me, have a video camera on your car. Because, it's a bomber that's after your husband, the car could be a bomb. Just saying.
I mean, even if you weren't on the run, if a man looked and dressed like Tommy Lee Jones approaches your like preteen daughter on the beach, that's like, I'm gonna shoot you if you don't leave.
This crazy man with a bag of crabs.
Because oh man, it is insane that she starts falling for this though. Because like Tommy Lee Jones comes up to the kid and it's like, oh, is this your kite? Whatever. And he's doing this like, it's a flat American thing, but then he to I guess come off as like playful and the mother is here at this point and everything. He starts acting goofy and all of a sudden. I can only describe it as a Jerry Lewis impression. It just sounds like he's doing this Jerry Lewis impression and he's dancing around. It reminded me of actually it's Batman Returns actually, when the mayor is speaking and that like the clown comes out and starts like dancing or whatever.
Yes,
and like Tommy Lee Jones like motions in this scene reminded me exactly of that character in Batman Returns.
Oh, no, he's just having so much goddamn fun in this scene.
Is he eating these crabs?
His cover, which he's smart about, like he knows the neighborhood. He's like, oh, do you know where the Zelinskys live or whatever the hell it is? It's like, oh, they live up the road. So like you're now a little less nervous about this guy because he at least you have an idea why he's on this private beach. But at the same time, three of your husband's friends are dead. You don't even know the IRA is involved. Me and my daughter are having a 5-day movie fucking marathon. How many movies can we watch and how many pizzas can be slipped underneath the door of this house? That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're ordering these pizzas and they're slipping them under the fucking door like it's Home Alone, man. You are playing a loud gunshot-riddled action movie.
And I might ask that you maybe take a week off from your job with the Pops. Is that what she's playing with?
Oh, yes. She plays violin in the Boston Pops, which I think is kind of funny when you think like he diffuses bombs that go boom.
Yes.
And she plays in the Pops.
Yes.
Whatever.
But I mean, like, honestly, like there's got to be they have to have like substitute performers for this shit. I would say, Mad Bomber on the list, although I guess that's happening every day, no matter what.
Yes, exactly. Like, Boston, baby.
Yeah, if guarantee or not, there's bombs going on.
But you're totally right, though. It's like a Mad Bomber is stalking me. Find someone else to play violin during the fucking 1812 overture, will you?
Well, especially the 1812 overture. My God, you're begging to be bombed at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of tempting fate there.
It is another genius fake out of this movie, though.
Yes.
Because you are just expecting that band shell to go sky high.
Oh, I kind of wish it did.
Yeah, kind of better movie if like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was a little bit on the nose.
Like she like leaves somehow. She's like, oh, and then it goes up or whatever,
Sure, why not?
But yeah, so I mean, like he plays with these crabs, et cetera, et cetera. But you see that he has done something to her car. That's kind of like that's the big reveal in this scene. And this,
You do what?
he
Can
walks.
you remind me?
He walks past like this all happens. She kind of like shoos him away, and he's like, "Oh, I'll be on me way." And he like kind of walks away, and like he adjusts her hood a little bit because you can tell that he has been fucked. It's really subtle, but it happens.
Oh, okay. Oh shit, I totally missed it.
Yeah, he latches the hood.
Yes, and
Got it.
so meanwhile, Bridges and what do you call it there? And Whitaker, like Whitaker's now up Bridges' ass. Is like, too much about this guy. That's this portion of the film, and it's good stuff. Solid.
Yeah, absolutely. He says, I basically like, I think you're the one that's bringing this all down on us.
Mhm.
This is after Lloyd Bridges has had that conversation with the hot dog man.
Oh
Yes. But Boyle, the hot dog snitch. If this guy, if you had to have at least one guy who looked a little bit like Shane McGowan in this, I guess. So here's your guy who looks a little bit like Shane McGowan.
He kind of does, actually. That's hilarious. I didn't think about that. But it's kind of fascinating, like, because Lloyd Bridges has been using a New England accent, and this guy is coming down the staircase at the stadium like, hot dogs, get yous hot dogs. And then like they both just turn on the Irish when they start talking to each other. Very, very fascinating to me.
And of course, he knows who Tommy Lee Jones is. He's like, go to this bar, which is the bar he's been hanging out with. And there's a big fake out here because like you have Mike Starr, character actor Mike Starr, as this big hulking bartender. I just expected something to happen at some point. It never did.
Right, because he's already been in Dumb and Dumber at this point.
and Goodfellas.
Yeah. Oh, right,
yeah.
duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is weird. Also, I'm sorry though. Like, you need to have Mike Starr like put on an accent here, because I'll tell you what, this hardcore Irish bar like this, you're not hiring this guy to be a bartender.
Oh yeah.
Just put that right out there.
I was like, isn't that guy Italian? When they just like they wouldn't like let him in.
Yeah, he wouldn't even get a chance to fill out an application. You're not getting through the front door, buddy.
Get out of here, garlic boy.
And then he goes to have garlic toast and he explodes.
As you do.
Yeah, so it's, Tommy Lee Jones is there at this bar with Lloyd Bridges. And they're kind of like hitting it off because it's all that, from the old country kind of stuff. Lloyd Bridges, here's the thing. Lloyd Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones share a beer right here. They're like, oh, a couple of pints of Guinness. This is the most disgusting, fraudulent prop Guinness I've ever seen. It is like way too like thin, and it's almost got like an amber hue to it. Like, it is not Guinness at all. And I don't know what you're right. And I don't know what you're trying to hide here. Like, Mike Starr is wearing a fucking Guinness t-shirt. Clearly, like, Guinness wanted in on this. You're making this fucking Irish movie, Boston shit. Yeah, put our stuff all over it. But like, just pour a couple of Guinnesses, will you? Absolute travesty.
Well, it looks like sewer water too. It just doesn't look very appealing either. And I mean, like, fucking Lloyd Bridges, clearly a little bit off of his detective game. He's like, he just talks to this guy for 2 seconds. He's like, let me just go make a phone call real quick. I was like, obviously you're gonna get found out. Like, you want to wait that out for like an hour. Just say, oh, where are you hanging your hat these days or something? Ease into it.
You should, like, he makes a beeline for this fucking phone, but what he says to Tommy Lee Jones is, I gotta go choke the old snake.
I haven't heard that one.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just met you. Say you have to go to the bathroom.
That sounds like you're gonna jerk off.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound. You're gonna do what? You're gonna squeeze the piss out?
Yeah. Are you really dehydrated? Is that the issue here?
Is this a medical emergency? Like, that sounds what that is. If you gotta squeeze that hard, maybe wait.
Yeah, Dad, don't go to the bathroom, Dad. The fucking hospital's that way, man.
Jesus Christ, verbal kint.
But yeah, he is fucking calling him like Dad through all this and all that stuff. And boy, Tommy Lee Jones goes back. Of course, he knows he's making a phone call. He goes back there and starts beating the shit out of Lloyd Bridges, and you get this, oh yeah, well fuck you, Dad.
It's great, honestly. This scene and the next scene. I know, Andrew, you have a big thing about, if there's child death in a movie, it's a star. It goes up 1 star.
Up a star.
I will say the same thing for the elderly. Honestly, like if an elderly person is murdered or tortured, absolutely, this is my cup of tea. On deadly ground, that guy getting drilled to death.
Oh
excellent.
my God.
Yeah.
Seagal just torturing that old timer. Yeah, that's something else.
Also deciding that like it's I'm gonna take it myself out of the equation.
Oh yes.
Anything like that, like Ray Winstone in The Departed is a much more, a blooming, a flagrant version of this, but I thought it was good in this one.
I mean,
Yeah.
the best thing about Lloyd Bridges' death scene isn't even that scene. It's Tommy Lee Jones afterwards, and like the camera cuts to him, and I swear to God, he grins. It's just sort of like,
Oh yeah. He's like denoid for 4 seconds.
It's so awesome because he's doing it's a total like deranged person thing. He's like smiling, but there's like a tear streaming down his face. It may have been from chuckling so much.
Well, it's so beautiful. He loves this idea he got from this statue. But there's also like a poster. There's a postcard, and there's like a painting of a guy with a bunch of arrows in him from like their old day in Ireland.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly which one it was coming from. I assume it's a saint that I don't know the name of.
Yeah, I think the IMDb trivia said something about it, and I didn't recognize the significance of the saint or anything like that. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, like when Bridges sort of like figures out what's going on. Again, it's Jeff Bridges rides multiple motorcycles in this movie.
It's pretty great.
Because this, like, he steals like a police motorcycle and he's driving it around. And yeah, pulling up, finding Lloyd Bridges just on this like piece of playground equipment with all these like arrows and this huge fucking bomb on him. Oh man.
And I mean, like, as an older person, you've got to be like, this is a pretty cool way to go. Like it's either this or the toilet. I'll take this, honestly.
Yeah, I won't feel this.
Yeah, and I don't want to leave a body behind. What are they going to do? Watch a fucking baseball game around me while I'm fucking decaying? Like, no, I'm fine. I'll just be obliterated here.
Yeah, you're burying like, I don't even know, like 3 mustache hairs at this point because there's nothing left of this guy.
Oh man. And like, so Bridges gets to him and he's like, oh, I got to go get my tools out of the car. And Lloyd Bridges is like, listen, man, like, look what's going on here. Like, you don't have time. Look at the fucking little wristwatch on this thing. You don't have time to save me. And like, so like in the meantime of like Bridges running back to the car to get his toolkit or whatever, which like, I don't know, you should probably thought of brought that out the car with you. You know what I mean? But it's just Lloyd Bridges like does the math and he's just like, well, if I stand up now, I can do this before he gets back from the car. And it's just a good old man, like, God forgive me.
Yes.
Hi, Jimmy. I never told you before, but I have to choke the piss out of my dick. I've had to do it since I was 20 years old, Jimmy. It's time for me to go. I got to go. I can't stop. I gotta stop choking the piss out of me dick, Jimmy.
Oh man.
But it's so fantastic because he just blows up, and there's this weird thing about a dolphin marble that is very important for some reason. But again, it just shot really cool. Like the idea that this thing, if it's balanced, the bomb is not going to go off. But if he stands up, it's going to go all over the place. We get, again, this kind of really cool, impossible zoom in on what this thing looks like. And it's just a really fun way to shoot this old man getting blown to hell.
Oh yeah. God damn, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe it. It's incredible.
It's fantastic.
I think if I had seen this in theaters, like somehow in '94, I would have cheered. I would have just like stood up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You would have to. Like, I almost want to like book this at a theater just so I can do that. I mean, you don't get rad shit like this. Like, not to sound too old man here, but like fucking CGI explosions just don't do it for me.
No, it's
No,
not
Just
the same.
doesn't do it.
They
It's the same thing with
don't
squibs.
look familiar. They don't look convincing. It's like with CGI blood.
Yes,
It
exactly.
does not look convincing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It kills you. And you know what I think did it in is I think the proliferation of Law and Order shows did this.
Pardon?
Like, because I think like Law and Order, like you just had Law and Order for a
Mhm.
while, and then
Yeah.
for after that you like had what 4 versions of it, and then you had different like copies of it. I feel like when that hit its point was like late 90s, early 2000s, and these movies go away. The
Yeah.
like chasing the cop and
Oh.
robber, like ground on the
Yeah.
ground in the city type Law and Order type stuff goes
Sure.
away. And I kind of feel like that it went to TV, it feels like so many other things.
Yeah, I mean, unless we're doing like bad remakes of shit, like Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with Travolta
Oof.
or something like that.
Yeah.
You sort of get it there. But so meanwhile, while that happens, like Forrest Whitaker really, hot on the trail of solving this whole thing, and he's Kate comes into the office or wherever they are, and Forrest Whitaker's there doing some work, and he starts asking her like, what did you know about Jeff Bridges when you met him? How did you meet him? What's going on? And like, she starts getting the vibe of like, oh fuck, he knows.
Yeah.
And like, so she's like, I'll see you later, Forrest Whitaker.
And she also does realize that he's looking at a picture of Tommy Lee Jones, which, by the way, if I'm telling my wife, hey, look, this guy's after me, and I have a picture of him, I'm like, and by the way, this is what he looks like.
Yep, just in case you see him out at the beach. Absolutely. Absolutely. But so like Forrest Whitaker has the file up on Tommy Lee Jones, and it's like, oh, known associates, and it's like Jeff Bridges, Liam, whatever, and it's like doesn't have a picture of him, but it's got a date of birth, and it says known, associates and relatives or whatever, and it's like, Uncle Max, whatever the fuck, and so Forrest Whitaker basically like confirms his suspicion at this point. Meanwhile, Jeff Bridges is drunk in that fucking hot tub. This is a scene and a half.
It is
man.
great. Well, because it's him, like he's given up. And I mean, I do think if you're in an Irish murder rivalry, you do give the your rival time to be hungover. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing anything between like 9 and 1 p.m. basic 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. That is hangover time. But once 1 p.m. strikes, the game is afoot again. Kind of
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As early as like 1:25 p.m. there could be a bomb call.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why he killed Blanket right at cocktail hour.
Just right when the reception was getting good.
Let's just go.
He even fires this gun in a hot tub. Again, something I've never seen in a movie before, but I was thankful it happened.
And no one thinks that's weird. Like, she doesn't react.
Yes.
He doesn't react. I was like, I'm sorry, a weapon just discharged in a hot tub. Did no one see this hot tub get shot? Come on.
This is the thing. I mean, I've lived in several places where guns have gone off, right? Like not like in the neighborhood, and everyone you sort of just like, oh, is that a gun? It's like,
Yep.
It's not
Yep.
it's not a casual thing necessarily. So it's just very like, what Boston neighborhood do they live in where this gun goes off and there's like no one bats an eye?
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's just Lloyd Bridges again shooting his gun off in his hot tub.
Oh, he hates that jacuzzi. My God.
But so she's like, you know what? I have to go to work, which is playing the 1812 overture. And
Yep.
and we're actually, we're going to play the 1812 overture, and we're going to close with Pop Goes the Weasel as the encore. So no reason.
No, why would you? No, and
There's
I have to go perform the Star Spangled Banner.
we're doing an orchestral version of the Macarena at the end.
oh Jesus. Yeah, please blow up the band shell. There's a really bad bit of ADR right here where she says to Forrest Whitaker, she's like, I have to go play this concert. And she goes, I'm not hiding anymore. And it's definitely like a fucking 6 weeks later. Please say this into a microphone.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew, the way you said that, it was like she was like having her voice modulated in like a Dateline episode.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not hiding anymore.
We're not. I'm right here where you can find me behind this black curtain.
We get a boy, oh boy, this With or Without You montage.
Yeah.
Crank the U2 watching Tommy Lee Jones make explosives while Jeff Bridges is standing in the hole that was once Lloyd Bridges. Him investigating the crime scene, man, and you just look at it. It is a huge, huge crater in the back. I think this building used to be an old school or something. So like because there's playground equipment, of course. Like this playground, a huge crater where once Lloyd Bridges stood.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. This song kicks ass in this montage, folks. You know what? Hang me, call me whatever you want to call me. But it's pretty fun.
I agree with you. I think it works. And having Tommy Lee Jones sing along with it
Yes.
while he's like dumping gasoline
Oh.
into the hall is really amazing.
It is
it
is kind of amazing that he and Irishman gets introduced to U2. It's like he comes out of prison like, oh, have you tried this beer? It's like, oh, interesting, huh? It's pretty good.
Not bad.
His whole Tommy Lee Jones like having this hideout here, like this is a hideout fit for Two-Face.
Yes,
it's like an abandoned barge on a like fenced off locked waterfront property. It's tilted on the side. The whole thing is exquisite. This production design.
It's a gambling barge.
Yes,
Like what is
from God knows when.
Yeah, what was this? Did this have the like wheel at the back of it?
Oh, right. I forgot about the roulette. Well, yeah, I don't like. This must have just been like in New York. We have like those circle line things that like go around Manhattan
I
and
guess.
stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something like that.
It must have been, but like it's dead, and they must have had like balls made with like the logo because it's called the Dolphin.
Well, that's the
Yes.
most amazing thing is
Yeah.
he finds like the dolphin was the trigger. The dolphin marble or roulette ball actually was the trigger. He pulls it out of a whatever and like finds 3 of Lloyd Bridges' teeth next to it, and he pulls it out of this tree or whatever. And looks at it and is immediately like, "Oh shit! It's the dolphin roulette barge. I know exactly where he is." And I'm like, "What?"
Well, because like him and Forrest Whitaker already tried to investigate this.
Oh, I
place.
see. I missed that.
But that's why they only like kind of investigated
Mhm.
and then Chris, what is I don't remember. Jamelle, do you remember? Like they go up to the fence and it's him and Forrest Whitaker, but like they don't go in or something.
I forget. I think
don't
they
remember.
Get the call. I think they get a call, and I think
okay.
it must be the. I mean, I guess it has to be the call with Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah.
I think. It would have
okay.
To be.
Because they do they get close to, I think they might even be in the ship, and then they stop before they get up and actually. Yes, I do remember this now because like Forrest Whitaker's like kind of apprehensive about the whole thing, and he's like, "Oh, maybe I'll just go with you." And Jeff Bridges is like, "No, you investigate that part of the fucking ship."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they have been there before, but I think that makes it almost even worse, Steve, because then it's like, "Oh man, we were right there."
Yes.
Could have gotten him.
And he's mixing up something crazy, and this is when Bridges has the drop on him. And this is what the movie, I mean, like the fight is great, but it's sort of a bit anticlimactic, I think.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like Tommy Lee Jones eats shit at the end of it, and the movie still has like 15 minutes.
Exactly.
left.
That's
Yeah,
the big
this
beef.
is the point where because I was just expecting this to go all the way to the end, right? Should have like a final
Mhm.
standoff at the concert
Yeah.
with Tommy Lee Jones, but no, yeah, he totally. I mean, I've said this before. There's a Rube Goldberg bomb
Yes.
that has like various stages that it goes through that is conveniently synced up with the progression of their fight.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. As they fall through the floor, they're following like the track of this machine. It's so awesome. It's just like, again, so wonderfully stupid. Like, what a stupid thing, but it's so awesome.
It's a Batman villain type of death. Like you would want
Yeah.
to dive with your stupid, super crazy bomb houseboat you made.
Yes.
But like it's funny because it does the chase from the pops in the car and the motorcycle. It does feel a little tacked on.
It does. It's like another movie
Yeah.
kind of.
But like also I can't imagine them doing like a Richard Jewell scene at the Boston Pops, like with just everybody scattering and then
Yeah.
hunting down. I'm not sure how you would how you could like shoot that. Are you just like having a hunt down in the park then? I guess.
We are getting.
There's a bomb at the Independence Day concert.
We are skipping over one of my favorite parts of this entire movie is Tommy Lee Jones has the drop on Jeff Bridges. They're both handcuffed together. They're about to blow up to go to hell. There's fire all over the place. And like Jason Voorhees, which he would make a great actor for Forrest Whitaker walks through a wall of fire.
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
saves
right.
the day.
Yeah.
He is
Hell yeah.
that dude is a refrigerator with legs, and I fucking love him. He's so big.
It's so awesome. Like and you hear like the scream too, like Forrest Whitaker like jumping through the fire, like "Brah!" It kicks ass. And yeah, he saves him. They have a really awesome Die Hard-esque running to the edge of the pier, jumping off
Yes.
into the water. It's so, and as far as I was looking at this, and I'd love to like be able to ask them this someday, it looks like when this barge goes sky high, which was one of the biggest explosions I've ever seen in a movie, I think it's the two of them standing there.
It wouldn't surprise me. It looks like them jumping in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so awesome. I guess somebody said, I don't know if this is on the trivia or we're reading this somewhere, maybe Wikipedia, like when they blew up this barge, it like shattered windows like on the other side of the water.
That makes
Wouldn't
sense.
surprise me.
That's a real flub, though. You're probably getting in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting
Lawsuits.
some fines from the mayor's office or whatever. Yeah, lawsuits, definitely.
And Tommy Lee Jones, who's been the engine of this movie, pretty much closes his eyes and kind of goes up with the ship, and it's kind of cool. But again, yeah, now we have this other thing where it's like, we got to get to the concert. I'm like, I don't know. He's dead. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are the credits?
I love the way that Jeff Bridges is explaining the rest of the situation to Forrest Whitaker because he keeps saying Katie's in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm like, while true,
Yeah.
also it's possible thousands of others, Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
Well, this is how you know this was completely fucking tacked on. Is like, so he gets to the concert and Suzy, Amos, and Lizzie are leaving, and they get in the car and like he's chasing out. He gets in on a motorcycle chasing them down the street. He gets in the car. He uncovers this insane fucking bomb inside the car. And the very tricky way in which he disarms it is he rips the head off a toy.
Yeah.
That's how he did the big bomb at the end of all this. You literally just like run random fucking piece. You just ripped it off and then you're fine. That to me is just like, yeah, we need to end this movie and we didn't do it there. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bummer the way he diffuses it, but what is rad is all of the stunt work here of him being on the motorcycle and the car. He realizes like she can't push the brakes because that's how everything is wired. So he has to do this thing where he climbs off the motorcycle and is hanging from the car.
Yeah.
It's this big like Jurassic Park Jeep kind of a thing. And then he's up on the fucking, roof. And then he leans it. I love when he goes to the little girl. He's like, would you mind sitting in the back seat?
And he's like,
fucking awesome.
He's doing that thing you do with like a little kid, like trying to keep them calm. Like, no, this little girl is very aware that there's a bomb in the car.
I'm
like,
gonna fucking die. Will you hurry up?
Exactly. Like, do not hold my hand right now, dude. Diffuse this bomb.
I do, because you mentioned it, I think, but I love the cool little shot of like, because we've seen a couple of times now in this movie, like odometers, or just like a little number counter thing moving their way to zero. And that means like the bomb has been, turned on or whatever. And that happens here. Like she starts the car and they start driving and you see the odometer just go down to zero. And then the camera kind of does a cool, like little computer effect shot of going through the odometer into the like inside of the car where you see the bomb set up. It's a pretty neat little shot.
Oh, Liam, before you die, I must tell you, that car cannot go over 50 miles an hour.
Someone said to me on Twitter, and I didn't realize it, but like, yeah, find me the spot in Boston where you can be driving downhill for that length of time. I don't know if that exists. I don't know where they filmed this stunt. But boy, did you see, this might have been it was like a hair away from being a totally cursed production. They have the shot of like, because the road comes to an end and she's like, it's a dead end. And there's some sort of like, I think like park beyond the road and there's a little archway and the car slams into this thing and they have like pedestrians there, like stunt people playing pedestrians. There is one stunt guy, like he barely gets out of the way of this car and they left it in the movie.
Oh yeah.
And you just see this dude like, oh shit.
Well, I love this one guy is just like about to get into it with Bridges and Bridges has the ultimate comeback. No, there was a bomb in the car, man. What do you want me to do?
Yep. Don't bitch to me. There's a fucking bomb in the car.
That's the next time somebody like pulls you over because they thought you rear-ended him, just scream, "There's a bomb in the car!"
Oh man.
I don't have insurance information. There's a bomb in the car.
No, I wasn't texting. There's a bomb in the car. And then Forrest Whitaker kind of does him a solid here. He's like, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to take credit for everything you did, including stopping Tommy Lee Jones. And we're just going to say that I was working alone and you're going to get the hell out of here. Jeff Bridges has been like shot in the fucking leg with a weird Tommy Lee Jones nail gun device, booby trap thing that he set up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cool moment of like, just get the fuck out of it. Because this whole time, you're thinking like Forrest Whitaker, he's a by the book dude, he's in it for, the glory of being a hero and everything. He will definitely turn Jeff Bridges over to the authorities. And it's just a cool, get out of here. But I am going to take credit for everything you did.
Yeah. And Forrest is really good in this scene. Like he sends it off. I thought, like, he gives it the energy that I was kind of missing from Jones in those last 10 minutes. Like they have a good,
yes.
I think Bridges and him have a good chemistry together.
Yeah, definitely.
Together. And then of course we fade to black, cue the nun music.
Yeah.
We get another nun / Enya music.
Mm-hmm.
That was
kind
that
of
was for the IRA movie of the '90s. That's just everywhere.
Yeah, no, totally.
No,
totally.
Van Morrison.
Patriot Games ends this way. Hidden Agenda ends this way.
Is the Devil Zone on your docket, Jamelle, as well? It must be.
Yeah. I mean, there are way more of these movies than you think. I think there's
Yep.
like 70 on our list so far.
Jesus Christ.
I love it. There is the weird, and I guess like you gotta do it, but it's like the movie's like dedicated to some presumably like fallen bomb squad guy, and then like that was from the Boston bomb squad, but then also like and bomb squad people everywhere.
I swear I thought you were gonna say, and dedicated to our brave boys of the IRA.
The brave fighters of the IRA.
Yeah, right up there with the fucking Mujahideen freedom fighters in
Yes.
Rambo 3.
Yes.
Keep fighting the good fight, fellas.
I would really love it if it turned out this was a true story and you just never heard of this story. Like the end of it was them like sorry to all the cops that died. Yeah, these were actually people. Jimmy Blanket died for real.
Yeah, Blanket was his real name. I want to say, like, again, product of the fact that this is like a movie made in 1994. Once Forrest Whitaker like lets Jeff Bridges off the hook here, this movie is over with.
Yeah,
and those credits come.
Yes.
And there's no like, I don't need proof that Jeff Bridges has a happy ending with his new family and everything. Like they're walking away, everybody's alive and okay. That is enough to end a movie.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Those 6 months later, blah, blah, blah. It is just boom. Forrest Whitaker's going to take care of it. Roll the credits, cue that nun music, and let's get out of here.
Nothing at this time, nothing will ever beat Die Hard 3, where like it ends like literally right when the last line is like Samuel L. Jackson's about to have a quip. And the fucking credits start rolling, and the song.
It's as if they know that if you thought about the end of Die Hard 3 for a second, you'd be like, "Wait, what the fuck? Why are we in Canada? Hold on, pardon?
They were gonna buy an island?
So just get out, go!"
Oh man, and that is the end of Blown Away, ladies and gentlemen. What an exquisite experience. But we will start with our guest this week, Jamelle. I think obviously it's going to be an around the horn recommendation, but any final thoughts or any of that stuff. And also, by the way, use this time, plug the new show, man. Plug whatever you got.
Okay, sure. So I'll do final thoughts and I'll do a plug. I love this. I've never seen this movie before. I loved it. It is, as we've been saying this entire episode, it's just sort of in the 90s, the studios would give a director an insane amount of money to make a big, spectacle driven, indulgent action movie, self-serious, and they're so enjoyable to watch because there's just nothing like them that exists anymore. Like this much money that goes to an action film, it's gonna be like a fast, it's like a fast 20 or whatever. It's gonna be quippy and part of a franchise, and sort of it's gonna be kind of one of those things, not just like a single standalone kind of hyper serious movie about
Right.
something vaguely political. Like it's just that movie does not exist anymore. And this, I think, it's not like the greatest example of it, but it's like an emblematic example of it. It's like this is what these movies were like.
Yeah.
Um, and so,
As
and again, how can you? I personally do not understand how you could not like a movie that blows up an old man as like a climactic thing. Like that's just sort of that's what more can you ask for in a movie? Honestly.
great point. Great
So
point.
huge recommend from me. People should watch it. And I mentioned on my podcast a couple times. It's with my friend John Gans. It's called Unclear and Present Danger. We watch these movies, but we talk about them. We talk about their politics and kind of situate them in kind of the post Cold War moment. Um, as time as episodes go on, I think we're on our 9th or 10th now. We are getting a little sillier because the movies are getting a little sillier, but it's
Yes,
all a good time.
totally. And folks can find that wherever pods are available.
Yes, yeah, it's everywhere. Even on Spotify, we haven't joined the Joe Rogan boycott.
Yeah, I think we're still on there too. You just inspired a question, and we never have political minds on this show because it's the four of us, so we can only do so much. But I'm curious because what you were talking about there about how having these like vague politics in movies like this, and the politics of this movie are incredibly vague. But like, would you say a part of what helped sort of usher those kinds of story arcs out of movies too was like 9/11, because then everything in movies, like action oriented movies, just became so obsessed with like terrorists like from the Middle East and just wars in the Middle East and just dealing with all of that. So I feel like that might account for some of the shift too.
No, I
What
think
do you think about
I think
that?
that's absolutely right. And if our podcast goes long enough, we're inevitably going to get to kind of like post 9/11 movies. And I think
Yeah.
one distinctive thing about action movies in the post 9/11 moment is that they're no longer as institutional. They're all about like a lone person getting vengeance. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys recently did Taken. And I think Taken is like a perfectly realized example of the kind of action movie America was producing after 9/11. It's like, you know, vengeance driven,
Yeah.
completely, hyper personal versus, even this movie, even though it's this sort of cat and mouse between two people, it's like Jeff Bridges is a cop and he represents an institution, and we spend a lot of time with the institution. Sort of like
Yeah.
part of the story in these movies is how institutions react to these kinds of challenges. And that kind of just goes
Right.
out the window after 9/11. It all becomes basically some version of like America's Dad trying to get even with, some
Right.
stand in for Osama bin Laden.
More often than not, Albania. Yes.
Right.
Used quite a bit, especially in Taken. But see, there you go, folks. This kind of chatter over on Unclear and Present Danger. So check out that program for sure. We'll go around to the rest of the fellas here. Chris Cabin, how you feeling, baby?
Oh yeah, I mean, even if I didn't love this movie, I'd have to recommend it for the amount of times I've seen it. It's I saw this so much as a kid, and it stuck with me. I've been watching this, I think, through my entire life. Maybe 2-3 years goes between me watching this movie again. I wanted
I'm
to.
so jealous of that fact.
It does speak. I mean, what Jamelle was talking about, like one thing that happens a lot now is that we care way more about connecting the dots. We don't want to have anybody on the fucking internet making fun of all the story gaps. So everything becomes about story and setting up it. Whereas something like this, a lot of it makes absolutely no sense from a story point of view. But like you just carry it through Tommy Lee Jones's energy and Jeff Bridges' charisma, and that's enough. And
Right.
with violence and explosions, it's enough. Also with an absolute banger Alan Silvestri theme.
Oh, yep.
This thing rides this whole movie. I have nothing but positive things to say about this movie. So I'll kick it over to Steve.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a really long time. Again, I definitely saw it a couple times. It's definitely like an HBO movie as well growing up. And it was really fun to come back to because I was like, I was like everybody else, like, 2-hour runtime. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of shit to do this week. And
Yeah.
then I was just in it. I was like, oh my God, they're going to blow somebody up every 12 minutes. And I'm in, you know what I mean? It's that sort of, it's the silliness of it, but the seriousness of it. And Jeff Bridges, I think, anchors this movie. He was apparently looking for an action movie to do, like kind of reading the tea leaves. Like, I can't, these character movies are great, but I need to have some big bombastic thing and I want to have a little bit of fun. And I think he does all of that really well. And he fits really well in this action movie context. And again, like he's not, what I love about him, he's not a Superman. He's not he's more of a he's not even John McClane. He doesn't have quips. You know what I mean? He's incredibly vulnerable, very complicit in what's going on and wears that pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I think it's going to be a tough couple of weeks for our friend Jimmy Dove afterwards. You know what I mean? Cleaning up all the funerals he has to go to and like, yeah, that was kind of me. Yeah, that's me too. Sorry. Sorry. I was sorry. Decades old rivalry. Sorry for your loss. Decades old rivalry. Bye.
Yeah, really sorry about that. It was a blood feud. He was looking for me. I'm sorry. Sorry he got Cortez, but he was looking for me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything that others haven't already said, other than like, man, it's always like it's a weird double-edged sword when you sort of cross off a blind spot like this, because like I'm glad I finally saw this movie, but Chris, like I said when you were talking, like I am bummed that I waited this long. It is 2022, and it was the first time I watched this. It just goes to show you're never going to watch anything and everything. So, hot damn, I'm just so glad that we finally got to do this, and I'm glad we got to do it with you, Jamelle. So thanks so much for popping on. This has been a lot of fun.
Again, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
And so that's going to do it for us, gang, for this week. Of course, patreon.com/WeHateMovies. There's a whole other load of content coming out there this month, including 2 separate We Love Movies episode on Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. 1 episode volume 1, 1 episode volume 2.
We're going to have Stalked by Your Doctor, or Stalked by My Doctor 2 on Once in a Lifetime.
That's super fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got...
speaking of crazy bastards.
And your standard stuff on the Nexus and Melrose 2.0. A ton of great content, as always.
Totally. Hey, Steve, what's the AD we're doing this month?
Oh, God, I totally forgot. Oh, we're going back to Doug country. We're doing a Doug Valentine's Day situation.
That is right. Kiss me, Doug!
Yeah.
Oh, gross. I can't wait. And then, so, Steve, what are we doing? That's all Patreon stuff. What's going on this feed next week?
Next week, we are airing our live episode from the Brooklyn's The Bell House on Chud. With a live VHS trailer game, which is super exciting.
Oh boy.
Live VHS trailer game, a special guest appearance. It was a whole thing. It was a real scene that night back in December, was it not? So that's going to do it for us this week. Next week, Chud, it's the 10th anniversary, 1 year late show. Enjoy that. And then we will be back with a brand new episode the week following. So until then, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Chris Gabin.
Jamelle Bouie.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.